Coal Secretary is talking about the auctions. Let's listen in.
The Coal India and the ongoing auctioning process. Sir, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. I believe there was a lot of heat being generated even before the conference began. I would take this opportunity to touch upon two broad issues. One relating to the update on what is happening on the coal auction process. And second, our colleague, Mr. Sutirtha Bhattacharya, will join us soon to tell you about what is happening in the Coal India front, where the board has approved ramping up production up to 1 billion ton in the next 5 years. So that will be the second part. You would recall that when we met for the first time with regard to coal auction, we were considering in all 74 blocks, 42 in Schedule 2 and 32 in Schedule 3. Over a period of time, there have been some developments, but the good news is that we will in all, by say 31st of March, we'll be either auctioning or allocating 83 blocks in all. Out of these 83 blocks, 40 would be put to auction. Some of are already being put to auction. The auction process is on, and I'll update you on the auction development so far. And 43 will be allocated. So in all, 83 blocks will be handled. Of these 83 blocks, 56 will be for the power sector, and 27 would be for the unregulated sector. So this is the broad picture of the coal auction process. This I am mentioning because there appears to be some misapprehension that the coal auctions or the allotment will stop after the first tranche of auctions that are underway. The second tranche of auctions will commence from the 25th of February, and even that process will be over at around 2nd of April. We are trying to squeeze it by 31st of March, but we'll see how to make it happen. This is as far as the overall picture of coal auctions is concerned. Now, what has happened so far? Some very interesting development has taken place. The value out of coal through coal auction comes through three prominent parts. One, you are aware, which is the e-auction that is happening, which is being discussed all over the place. The second is the royalty part. And the third is the value that comes as a consequence of reduction in tariff. This is with regard to the power projects. So there are three sets of values that are emerging as a consequence of what we are doing in the coal sector, in the coal blocks. What has been discussed, as I said earlier, has been primarily with regard to e-auction money. But what I will tell you is the overall value that is being generated. So far, 15 blocks have been auctioned. Of these, the e-auction amount is 83,662 crore. I will repeat this number, 83,662 crore. But these blocks also entail an income to the states by way of royalty, which comes to 12,801 crore. This is apart from 83,662 crores.
What's the figure?
Royalty amount would be 12,801 crore. There is a third value that is coming, and which is very important and is getting lost because we are stuck with the forward auction, is the value transfer as a consequence of reverse auction, and this tariff reduction will be to the tune of 37,050 crores. 37,050 crores. This is also a huge amount, because this is getting lost because, as luck would have it, most of the reverse auction have begun at zero. So sometimes the number that comes after zero doesn't appear to be a big one. But what we are forgetting is that it has come from a ceiling price of a particular level and come down to zero. And this is the value that will get transferred to the tariffs. I'll give you an example. In one of the blocks, the forward auction amount bid was only 108 rupees. And suddenly there was this debate that it is very low. But let me give you a number here. The value that is coming out of the e-auction is 1,679 crore. The value that is coming from royalty is 1,523 crore. But the real value is coming out of the tariff concession that will happen, and that is 11,469 crore in this. So the overall value that gets determined in that particular block is 14,671 crore. So it's a huge amount. So sometimes this reverse auction gives you a slightly different impression, as if the value is not coming, because in reverse auction, most of the value comes not through a forward auction process, but through the money that goes by way of concession in tariffs. This will get translated in tariff. So broadly, the point that I was trying to make here is, whereas what is getting discussed is the forward auction amount, which comes to about 83,662 crores. What is not being discussed is the additional 37,050 crores that is coming through by way of tariff concession. Now, this will not flow out as money income to the state governments, but will go to the recipient state where power is actually being used. Let me also briefly tell you what are the incomes that are likely to accrue to major states as a consequence of what we've done. And this amount will not include the amount of tariff concession that will happen, because tariff concession will not happen in the state where the block exists until that power is consumed in that very state. In that case, it will be. But where the power is consumed elsewhere, the tariff concession will go elsewhere. So broadly speaking, we are looking at, so far in 15 mines only, Odisha likely to get 607 crore. Because most of the blocks here so far have not been in Odisha. Once more blocks come in, the number will go up. Madhya Pradesh gets 39,900 crores. And this includes the royalty amount. West Bengal gets 13,210 crores. And this amount, all this amount is over a period of 30 years, over the life of the, I can give you the annual amounts if you want. 13,210. Maharashtra gets 1,819. Jharkhand gets 14,498 crores. Chhattisgarh gets 26,425 crores. The short point that I want to make here is, the eastern states and the so-called poorer states are getting most of the benefits because most of the mines are there. This is as far as the auction proceeds are concerned. We will still wait for Mr. Sudurto to come over and join us. He's in a meeting. Once he comes over, he will tell you about the 1 billion thing. But in the meanwhile, okay. संक्षिप्त में मैं ये बताना चाहूंगा कि ये जो ऑक्शन की प्रक्रिया इस समय चल रही है, इसकी कार्यवाही जब आरंभ हुई थी तो मैंने आपके समक्ष ये बिंदु प्रस्तुत किया था, कॉल ले लीजिए जाके बाहर, आपके सामने ये बिंदु प्रस्तुत किया था कि हम कुल 74 ब्लॉक्स की प्रक्रिया संपादित करेंगे 31 मार्च तक। वर्तमान में हमने कुछ एडिशनल ब्लॉक्स उसमें ऐड किए हैं और हमें आशा है कि हम 83 ब्लॉक्स के संबंध में ये कार्रवाई पूर्ण कर सकेंगे। इन 83 ब्लॉक्स में ऑक्शन की प्रक्रिया के माध्यम से 40 ब्लॉक ऑक्शन किए जाएंगे और 43 ब्लॉक अलॉट किए जाएंगे। इसी प्रकार इसमें कुल 56 ब्लॉक्स ऐसे हैं जो कि पावर से रिलेटेड हैं और 27 ब्लॉक्स ऐसे हैं जो कि अनरेगुलेटेड सेक्टर से रिलेटेड हैं। जो ऑक्शन हो रहे हैं, सामान्य रूप से जिस धनराशि की चर्चा की जा रही है वो केवल ई ऑक्शन से जो धनराशि प्राप्त होगी उसकी की जा रही है, जबकि इसमें जो वैल्यू प्राप्त होगी वो 2 अन्य प्रकरणों से भी होगी। ई ऑक्शन से तो होगी ही, उसके साथ साथ रॉयल्टी के रूप में संबंधित कंपनियां जिस स्टेट में वो ब्लॉक स्थित है उसको रॉयल्टी के रूप में देंगे। और तीसरा जो सबसे महत्वपूर्ण है कि रिवर्स ऑक्शन के माध्यम से टैरिफ में कंसेशन मिलेगा। जितना रिवर्स ऑक्शन नीचे आएगा उतना ही टैरिफ कम होगा। ब्रॉडली 100 रुपए कम होने पर लगभग 6 पैसा का टैरिफ का रिलीफ बनता है। ये ब्रॉड फिगर है, ये वेरी कर सकता है फ्रॉम स्टेट टू स्टेट या टैरिफ टू टैरिफ। इसी संदर्भ में मैं बताना चाहूंगा कि अब तक जो 15 ब्लॉक ऑक्शन हुए हैं उससे ई ऑक्शन के माध्यम से विभिन्न राज्यों को 83,662 करोड़ रुपए की धनराशि प्राप्त होने की संभावना है। ये धनराशि 30 वर्षों में प्राप्त होगी। रॉयल्टी के रूप में 12,801 रुपए धनराशि प्राप्त होने की संभावना है और टैरिफ कंसेशन के माध्यम से 37,050 की धनराशि प्राप्त होने की संभावना है। ये जो तीसरा बिंदु है महत्वपूर्ण है क्योंकि सामान्य रूप से इस पर चर्चा नहीं हो पाई है, क्योंकि ये धनराशि टैरिफ कंसेशन के रूप में प्राप्त होगी। ये उस संबंधित स्टेट को नहीं जाएगी, लेकिन जिस स्टेट में पावर कंज्यूम होगी वहां पर ये उपलब्ध हो सकेगी। ये इसलिए महत्वपूर्ण है जानना क्योंकि सामान्य रूप से कई बार जब बिड नीचे आ रही है स्पेशली जहां पे रिवर्स बिडिंग हो रही है, तो ऐसा आभास मिलता है कि ये बिड तो बहुत कम आ गई। ये बिड इसलिए कम आ रही है क्योंकि शुरू में ये रिवर्स बिड होती है, उसके बाद फॉरवर्ड बिड शुरू होती है। राज्यों के संदर्भ में मैं बताना चाहूंगा कि अधिकतर इसमें धनराशि जो है वो ऐसे राज्यों को गई है जहां पर विकास की आवश्यकता है, जहां पे ज्यादा गरीब लोग रह रहे हैं। इसमें उड़ीसा को 607 करोड़ रुपए की धनराशि जाने की संभावना है, मध्य प्रदेश को 39,900 करोड़ रुपए की जाने की संभावना है, वेस्ट बंगाल को 13,210 करोड़ जाने की संभावना है, महाराष्ट्र को 1,819 करोड़ की संभावना है, झारखंड को 14,498 की संभावना है।
Lots of numbers coming there from the coal secretary and some mega amounts being raised, 83,662 crores being raised just by way of the forward auctions. That's only the forward auction amount. An additional about 12,801 crores in royalty and 37,050 crores by way of tariff concession. A lot of money has been raised, and this is just phase one of the coal auction.